Am I not overqualified to do the Booktube Oldies Tag? I'm old, I say what I mean, and for you Western book lovers and film lovers out there, I even have a hitch in my giddy up. Hello, Booktube. I hope you're still with me after that opening. And it will come into my doing this tag of the Booktube Oldies Tag, which I'm doing today. The Booktube Oldies Tag was created by Cozy Monica, and I wasn't tagged, but I was mentioned in a video by Jack of Spread Book Joy. We're doing a buddy read today. So let's get into the tag. There's 7 questions. Number 1 is, how long have you been part of the Booktube community? Well, I joined Booktube as a creator on my 70th birthday, and in August I'll be 74, so it will be 4 years, and that's a long time when you're 70. So what is it, in like dog years or something? Yeah, it's been a while, so I think I qualify. Number 2, what was your biggest misconception before joining Booktube? I think I had a lot of misconceptions because I started watching Booktube maybe 5 years ago, and just by commenting and finding Booktube creators that read the same books that I read at the time. And there weren't many, but when I found them, I would comment. And on one one creator's, and I don't even remember who it was, I said, they were talking about starting a Booktube channel. And I said, oh, wow, I'm 70 and I'd like to start a Booktube channel, but that wouldn't be a good idea. And I got like so many people say, you should do it, you should do it. And I started my Booktube channel with 100 subscribers just because of that one that one comment. So that was quite an unusual way of starting, I think, Booktube. Also, the misconception was that I had to be the part of myself that was performative, because I was a performer most of my life, a dancer. I acted. I read poetry and poetry slams. So I have a persona, an alter ego that's part of me, but it's not the whole being. And I think when people started getting to know the real me, I began to change the way my misconception was that you had to be more extra, as the kids say. So I think that was my biggest misconception about Booktube. And also that you have to have a script and everything has to be perfect. I remember my first videos, everything was really, I was talking really slow, which is, as you can see, I don't talk slow in real life. Okay, so 3, how do you think Booktube has changed since you started? I think there's more booktubers, which is great. Some people say it's oversaturated, but how can you be oversaturated with reading? I think the people that read compared to the people that don't read, there's much more non-readers, unfortunately. And books have helped me so much in my life that I think that's one way that Booktube has changed. Also, and this might sounds kind of odd, but now people, they start Booktube and they blow up really quickly, which is good. I mean, it kind of happened to me in a way, unexpectedly, but now there's like these catchphrases that people will start. And one that I was really happy about was, there was a phrase going around, I was depressed, so I joined Booktube. And those videos blow up a lot, which made me really happy at first, because I thought, that is why one reason I joined Booktube was to talk about mental illness, and I will go into that later. And I say that's wonderful because so many people were responding to people having mental issues or being depressed and wanting to hear that. But I'm hoping, and this is the part that I haven't read all of, I haven't watched all of those videos, but I hope that there was a lively discussion and it wasn't just used to, blow up on Booktube, and it was used to start a conversation about mental illness. And so that's a wonderful thing that has happened, that people are being more real, hopefully. I mean, not everyone is, but at least if one person will blow up by talking about mental illness, I'm happy about it. 4, what is your favorite Booktube memory? I have quite a lot of Booktube memories. One was being interviewed by Claudia of Spinster's Library, and I got a lot of subscribers that way. Also, some of my funny videos where I would do outrageous things, some of them would get more views than others, and it was enjoyable to be that part of myself. But I realized later on that wasn't the real authentic me. It was part of who I am, but it wasn't the authentic me. And also I was interviewed on Shawn the Book Maniac's channel about a book that I read when I got into 20th century women writers, usually from Britain. So he made it very comfortable for me to be interviewed, and that was one of my favorite Booktube memories. But of all of the Booktube memories that I have to say, and one is also that I forgot, being a co-host on March Mystery Madness and meeting Janelle from Too Fond of Books, who sadly passed away, but we became friends, and I loved her channel so much. And she was one of the few people who read almost exactly the same kind of mysteries that I loved, though there are others and I should look for them. And also, my favorite memory is doing what I'm going to do next month, which is Mental Health May with Kim of Middle of the Book March, and finding kindred soul with her on many levels, that we can talk openly about mental illness and hopefully help other people. Now, let me just say that I talked about mental illness when I first started my Booktube channel. I had a Mental Health Mondays, which wasn't really watched at all, and I hope to bring that back during next month, because I'm also going on vacation to Canada for 2 weeks, so I won't be able to really participate as much in Mental Health May as I want to, but Kim says we're doing a chill event, so that's all good. Okay, 5. What are some of the books you were introduced to because of Booktube? And I have a pile here, but I wanted to say that there were so many books that I've been introduced to, and it's not that I studied literature in college and I had to read the classic books, but I didn't know what variety was out there, and I'm very glad to have discovered, for one, Canadian literature, and that is part of all the wonderful Canadian booktubers out there that I'm going to give a shout out to later. But one book that I read, that I was given by Lindy, my friend from Lindy's Magpie Reads, and she gave me this, and it says Read Across Canada, April, Manitoba, and it's Wild Geese. And I think this was the first Canadian book that I read. Lindy and I went on to read other Canadian novels, and I'm ashamed to say I didn't know what wonderful literature comes out of Canada. And I've never been to Canada. This will be my first time. So I'm excited to be I'm going to be looking for more, going shopping with Lindy maybe for some more Canadian literature. So that was one thing. The other thing was reading The Country Girls, the trilogy. I have both Edna O'Brien's 3 novels and an epilogue, and I also have the first Country Girls. So I enjoyed all 3 of the books in here, and especially the first one, I think, was wonderful. And it brought me a new perspective on Irish literature, which I love. And I always loved Irish literature. I come from New York, where there is a large Irish population, and I read Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt and loved it. But I don't know why I never really branched out into Irish literature. But I plan to keep on doing that, and I have. And I read Foster, so was my favorite books of the year last year. Anyway, what else? Of course, Barbara Pym, and I have Jane and Prudence here. And I also have a book that I read with Jack, and that's why Jack mentioned me on the Booktube Oldie Tag, and that was The Sweet Dove Died, which we just finished, and we're going to talk about the last chapter. I think this might be my favorite Barbara Pym book, and that's saying a lot. And I have them all with these covers, and they're just wonderful. I just love it. What else? The other thing is translated fiction. I am ashamed to say I haven't read many translated fiction, and my favorite book of either last year or the year before was Cora Sandel, the Alberta trilogy, that I also read too with Lindy. And in fact, we read so many wonderful books together. And this is translated from the Norwegian, though she, I think, lived in Sweden most of her life. I loved every single one of these books. Alberta and Jacob, Alberta Alone, and the last one is Alberta and Freedom. And I really recommend everyone to read this wonderful trilogy of a woman who lived so in a different place than I lived, in a different time, and yet I could relate to this character, which is a semi-autobiographical novel, she admitted. She was a very unusual person and a very sensitive person, an artist. It's just a wonderful book. And I just read, so this is the end of the month, so my favorite book of the month, so I'm going to kind of bring this up, is Like a Mule Bringing Ice Cream to the Sun by Sarah Ladipo Manica, shortlisted for the Goldsmiths Prize 2016. And I recently saw a Goodreads little review from Shawn the Book Maniac, who didn't like it, and he said that the title was the best part of the book, but for me it wasn't. For me, I love this book. Yes, it doesn't get into things very deeply. It's just a snapshot of a woman from Nigeria who lives in San Francisco and loves San Francisco. And one reason she loves San Francisco is because she gets a lot of attention from gay men who admire her national attire. And I thought that was cute. She's sensual. She's a reader. She was a professor. And how she navigates the years of her life that I'm going through right now with joy, sometimes anger, to me was for a short book, it gave me all the feels. So I loved it, Shawn. Let's get to the next question. Okay. Do we have time for this one? What is something that frustrates you about Booktube? Let me get my tea now and have a sip. This is not something that frustrates me about Booktube. It frustrates me about myself regarding Booktube. And that's because it makes me feel my self-worth goes down when my videos don't do well, when I'm not growing, when the algorithm seems to be against me. And then I think, well, maybe it's not the algorithm. Maybe it's people don't like me. And there's a Yiddish saying that as you are at 7, that's the way you are at 70. And I was always very shy, believe it or not. I was shy and I had low self-esteem. I'm not as shy now, but my self-esteem sometimes takes a hit when I work really hard on a video and it doesn't get any views. So it doesn't frustrate me about Booktube, because it's not Booktube's fault. It really, unless you want to blame the algorithm, but I don't understand it, and I don't care really about the algorithm. I care, of course we care. I put in a lot of work for my videos, maybe more than a lot of younger people, because I don't know how to edit. So my partner, who's younger than me, and it happens to be an IT specialist, does edit videos. I try not to make too many mistakes. I don't make a script or anything like that. I talk off the cuff. Sometimes I say things that aren't maybe other people say, but it frustrates me. That frustrates me about being a creator on Booktube. Is there anything else that frustrates me about Booktube? Not really. I'm happy with Booktube. It's opened up so many avenues. I've made so many friends. Is that a question? I think it's kind of a question, but that's what I love about Booktube. Is what keeps me on is making videos, is not only because I love books and because I've grown so much as a reader. And I wanted to talk about that just a tiny bit. I used to read Martha Grimes, and I read maybe one of her books or two of her books, and I felt that it was too hard for me. I felt it was too literary for me. And now that I've got, some chops in with my literary fiction and translated fiction, I'm really enjoying rereading her and reading the books that I said, why did I think this was too hard? I don't even understand it. So I've grown. I've grown as a reader, and I've grown as a person. And the friends that I've made, that's just the main reason. The community. The community is so welcoming, and I have my little tribe, that I feel I belong to, that understand me. That when I first joined, I called myself the baby boomer booktuber. I thought that was cute. I write, so I was looking for catchy phrases. I said, well, I'm a baby boomer and booktuber. But I kind of dropped that along with the other things I used to do on Booktube. And maybe that was a mistake, because that's also a part of me that I plan to bring back. And if you look at my older videos, you'll see what I mean. I've told jokes, I've danced, I did quite a lot of things that I didn't do it because I wanted to be noticed as much as I did it because it gave me joy. It gave me joy, and Booktube gives me joy. So, and that was a long answer. What is number 7 is, what is your hope for the future of Booktube? Well, my hope is that I can be well enough to continue to do it. I've had some health problems. In fact, I have a doctor's appointment after online after I finished this video. And I took like 1 million tests. I saw a cardiologist, and my mental health has been up and down because I didn't want to look at the results, and in case something went wrong, I felt that it's better that I just wait and talk with my doctor, since no one called me, and that was a week ago. And I didn't want to get into some kind of panic attack or something like that. So I hope I can stay well enough and passionate enough because I want to keep on talking about things that matter to me, like mental health. And I'm very excited to be doing Mental Health May next month with Kim, and hoping to reach people who are home and suffering with mental issues and don't feel that they have anyone that understands them, because that's how I felt when I was young. And there's a lot of young people who are suffering with mental issues, even in my family. And not to go into that, but I want to continue to talk about mental illness and books about mental illness and books about all of these other things that I was talking about. So I wasn't tagged for this video, but I want to tag people, and I'll tell you why. I want to tag people because I watched a video quite a while ago, and I mentioned it in another video, that someone said, don't say, everybody has done this tag lately, so I'm not going to tag anybody. If you haven't done it, feel free to tag. But they said to name people because this brings people's channels, creators' channels, to the forefront. And that's what we want to do, especially for booktubers who are smaller. So I have a little list, and if you've done this video before, of course, I probably watched it and I still am saying your name, so you can blame that on my age, but yeah, I think I still got my marbles. Somebody laughed when I said that the other day. So I'm going to tag Kim of Middle of the Book March, who we're doing Mental Health May next month. Brian of Bookish Texan, he was very lovely and repurposed one of my videos last month, and that was very kind of him. And it made my video get more views. Hannah's books, I love Hannah. I love her quiet, wonderful storytelling manner, and I just love her. Elizabeth of Bookins and Books, she's sassy, and I love her. Jennifer from Jennifer Loves Books, I think she reads mysteries, and I always want to give a shout out to creators who love mysteries. Becky from Teacup the Storyteller, who has been away for a while, and I hope she'll be coming back. She's the sweetest person. Jonny Keene, who's an older booktuber that I sometimes watch and hear about. Margaret Pinard, who started her channel about the same time as I did, and we're both writers, and she's a lovely person. Katja, my friend from, I think it's Page Turners with Katja, I hope I'm saying it right. Troy Towell, who is one of the creators of March Mystery Madness. Sonya, at an enthusiastic reader, and Kathy Grimm. And all of these people have been on BookTube for a while. And I had many more to talk about, but I think that's it. And I hope that you reach the end of this video, because I should have said at the beginning, if you like this video, or just to help me out, please like, comment, and subscribe, and push the notification bell. And I will be back with Mental Health May very soon. So I got my sturdy cane. And I will say aloha oi.